This is the 2025 Honda Odyssey Elite. Is this the ultimate minivan? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Holmes Honda. We're going to go over the top trim level of the Odyssey for 2025. I know a lot of you like to see lower trim levels. There's quite a few features we're going to see here on this Elite that you'll find across all trim levels with the Odyssey. But I wanted to show you one particular thing that is here that has changed and actually is going to be the biggest in its class. We'll get to that when we get to the interior, but if you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. Let's take a look, for those of you who are looking at the Odyssey for the first time for 2025, at what has changed. We're going to find a redesigned front fascia. Not massive changes, but there are some changes here. The grille design has changed. The surround around those fog lights and turn signal indicators down there on the lower portion of the bumper is larger. It's wider than it used to be, so a little bit of a change there as well. But you're still going to find your LED headlights, your LED daytime running lights, and your LED fog lights, but a little bit more sporty look than what we've seen in the past. Still only available in front-wheel drive, but been that way for a while, so not a big deal. However, there is a change here, not with the tire size so much, because that's still 235 on your width and 55 on your sidewall size or series, but you do have the 19-inch wheels. These new 19-inch wheels on this trim level, you'll find a few different wheel options that have changed, redesigned for 2025. We're still going to have our body-colored mirror caps, and that's going to be platinum white, by the way. Turn signal indicators built in. They're heated, they're power adjustable, they're also power folding. I'll show that to you in just a bit. Now, if you're wondering about your blind spot monitoring, if you watch me regularly, you're going to say it's not here. Well, it's not here in the side view mirror as we're used to seeing with the Odyssey. That's something that hasn't changed for 2025, is the fact that the blind spot monitoring is still going to be on the inside of the door right there where I just showed you. LED tail lights finish things off here on the rear. And the rear has a little bit of a different look to it as well. The biggest change back here is going to be found with these vertical reflectors that actually come from the Acura NSX, the second generation of the NSX supercar. Just kind of something interesting that Honda integrated into the Odyssey for 2025. And if somebody calls me a liar, well, I guess I can't really say anything to defend myself, because I said it would be a second before I showed you the power folding side view mirrors. Okay, so it was a little more than a second, but they do fold. That's not a new feature for 2025, by the way, but there is the button I use to make that happen. And while we're sitting here in the interior, something that might be a pleasant surprise for some people is that you have options beyond just a black interior. This is the brown interior here in the Odyssey, so if you're looking for something a little different, well, there's something you can consider. And continuing into 2025 is going to be the same 3.5 liter V6, the VTEC, under the hood of the Odyssey. Not turbocharged, so for those of you who don't like turbochargers, that should make you happy. It is naturally aspirated, 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. How about the MPGs? 19 city, 28 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. When you fill up, you have a 19.5 gallon gas tank. And we'll take advantage of the bright Louisiana sunshine to show you another one of the changes, which is going to be the design of the remote. Now, all of the buttons are still in the same place. You still have all of the same functionality, remote start, and you can open and close the power side doors. All of that's still going to be here. And the towing remains at 3,500 pounds. Now, if the time ever came when we saw an all-wheel drive Odyssey, maybe that number would jump up to 5,000 pounds. I don't know, but that's the situation here. You can still raise and lower your power tailgate here depending on what you need to do. You can see right here it says hold to set height. Right there. Let me make sure I actually show you that on the screen. So let's just say for some reason you needed it to be lower. You might or might not know this, but I'm going to show it anyway. You hold that button down until you hear all of those beeps. And so depending on what happens, maybe you open your tailgate and say, that needs to be opening more than that. I want the maximum height. Well, all you have to do is push it all the way up or move it down, whichever you need to do, just like I did right there. And you can see that that has changed the height of the tailgate. So just one of those nice little features that you may not have known about. And one thing that is a huge advantage here is all of the versatility offered by the Odyssey. Not only do you have your front license plate bracket holder over here on the right-hand side. Okay, I'm fudging on that a little bit. That's not really true, but hey, it fits. So I'll just leave it there for now. But you do have your 12-volt power outlet that you can use. And the area right here is something that I like to call a multitasker, because not only can you stow the stowing magic seats back here, which is very easy to do. See if I can do that one-handed. I can always do that one-handed on this side, but not on this side as easily, or at least in one fluid movement. Well, I almost did it, but you can see my mistake right there that cost me the opportunity. I'm not going to reshoot that scene. But not only can you stow the seats down there, but you can also use that area for storing other items when the area is not being used for the seats. And so that's nice to have, especially if you need a little bit more height. Maybe you have something that wouldn't fit otherwise, that's not too long, obviously, but if you have the right situation, that works really well. We have our upper and our lower storage sections right here. And the one thing I know a lot of people are saying is bring back the Honda vac. I don't know if that's ever going to happen because we'd have to have a manufacturer to do it. But we'll just have to see what happens in the future. The middle row seats are removable. They do slide back and forth. I have some scenes from other videos where I can show you what that looks like, and I will put that on the screen just because I'm already worn out from my workout this morning, so I'm not going to take the effort to remove everything. Now, one thing I do want to show you right here, it's not as bad as it is with the Honda Pilot, but you do want to make sure that you Velcro these straps down right here. Because if you do have to reach up there, in fact, it actually seems to be a little worse than the Pilot now that I think about it or try. If the strap winds up here instead, well, you have to reach all the way up here. You have to lean all the way in and reach all the way in to get that. So it's better to just Velcro it right there. Just a little pro tip from somebody who has made the mistake, and I'm going to keep you from doing that yourself, hopefully. And to answer a very common question, do these rear seats recline? As you can see, they do. There are a couple of different settings you can use to set these seats, or your passengers can use to set these seats if they want to. It just depends on what their desire is. If they want to take a nap, pretty easy to do. Just recline those seats back and make it happen. And we'll use one of the multiple ways to open these power sliding side doors right there. Just pull on the handle. You can also use the remote. There's buttons on the inside of the interior. There's a lot going on here. So to gain access to the rear seating area, all you have to do is pull on that lever and get those seats up and out of the way. Makes it pretty easy to do. And then I'll hop back here and show you a couple of things here. So there's where the seat can be. That's way up there. Probably a little impractical, but I guess if one of the kids was sitting up there and one of the adults sat here in the rear, they could use that area for, or use that position for the seat and make it a lot easier to have leg space. This seat is all the way back. I still have a reasonable amount of leg space. It's not too bad. What about head space? Let's see if I can give you a look at that. Well, at 5'10", I'm sitting straight up, have a little bit of space to go. So that's pretty easy to deal with. Now, here we go with what we have as far as our air conditioning vents go. They are going to be located down here, a couple of cup holders and a couple of USB ports, as well as the privacy shades. Now, over here on this side, however, there is a difference. Do you see what it is? Right there, the headphone jack and the volume. Now, the headphones are wireless. You can have wireless headphones at least with this Odyssey, so that's nice to know depending on what your passengers want. There's also a fairly deep upper pocket right here. It's not on the lower portion of the seat as we have with those middle or front seats for the middle row passengers, and then you have your upper pocket as well. But it is nice to know that there's a little bit of extra storage right here. And a big change right here, the new 12.3-inch entertainment system, the screen larger, and that's good. You're going to have A lot of great opportunity where that is concerned to keep the kids and even the adults occupied back here in the second and third rows. And you'll still find some connectivity on the rear of the center console, but the HDMI port is going to now be located inside of the center console. No changes where that's concerned as far as its overall design goes, but that's what we have. Still going to have the privacy shades on the power sliding side doors for the windows. The windows do come down, so that's good to know. You can still open and close those. No changes where that's concerned. That shouldn't be a surprise, I don't think, to anybody. There's the command center for the third zone of climate control, and the oh crap handle is up there as well in case somebody drops the hammer on 280 horsepower. You can reach up and grab that. And right here, we're going to have not only our air conditioning vents, but there is one of those buttons I was telling you about, one of those options for opening and closing these power sliding side doors. But there are some big changes to also talk about in the front seat, and they're not limited, just as I said earlier in the video, to the Elite trim level. And if you came into Holmes Honda and wanted to buy this Odyssey Elite, you're looking at a sticker price of $52,730. Let's see what else you get for the sticker price. One thing I didn't talk about earlier, the sunroof. No changes where that's concerned. It's still conventional size. It will open. It's not going to be panoramic, and for obvious reasons, you wouldn't have a panoramic sunroof here, but who knows? If you ask nicely enough, maybe Honda will add a rear sunroof option if that's something you want for your passengers. Over here on the driver's side door, seat memory, controls for your power side windows, or your power windows. What windows would you have besides side windows, right? Yes, that's right. It's okay to laugh. And the controls here for your side view mirrors. Right here are the two buttons I told you about earlier, the options for opening and closing those power sliding side doors and your power tailgate. If you want to attempt a front wheel drive burnout, turn traction control off first before you do that. The lever right here, you drop that down like that, and you can adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Here is one of the big changes for 2025, the digital instrument display at 7 inches, and you can go in and make changes. You push the home button right there and you can scroll through a lot of different information right here. I'm just using the scroll wheel. Heated steering wheel. Wish it was ventilated. We need ventilated steering wheels. I've been talking about that for a while, but none of the automakers have been listening to me yet. Maybe they're just not watching my videos. But I would like to have a ventilated steering wheel instead of a heated steering wheel for those of us who live in a hot climate. And I'm reminded of something I didn't tell you about earlier in the video because I see the settings here for adaptive cruise control. That's part of Honda Sensing. Adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation braking, collision mitigation, we don't have traffic jam assist. That's a habit. Traffic jam assist is not here, before anybody has a fit in the comments section, but you do have lane keeping assist. And another change that is here across all trim levels, I don't have to correct myself this time, is the 9-inch screen, the 9-inch touch screen here. That is nice. Tell me what you think about that. You still have your built-in navigation. You have wireless pairing for your smartphone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. As you can see right there, you can manage so much going on here. The rear entertainment right there, you can adjust or make changes there, turn things on, whatever you need to do with that. You can go in and do quite a few things. So that is there. A lot of the same features obviously are still going to be here beyond what we've seen, or not beyond what we've seen in the past. Now, if you didn't see the segment where I showed you where the HDMI port is now located, well, Honda made sure you'd know anyway, even if you're skipping around in the video. But you can see everything that you have here. It walks you through the steps and information that you need as far as a tutorial on how to use that. So that's nice to see. If you need to make changes to the vehicle, we'll go right here and do that. The nice graphics to let you know what you need to see, what you need to do. In fact, here's a common problem I know some have run into. The power tailgate won't open. Here's where you come to fix that. Just make sure it's turned on. Hands-free access function right there needs to be set to on. Now, personally, I wish that Honda had gone ahead and made available more camera views, such as what we have with the Honda Pilot. Not here yet. What do you think? Would you like to see that? We'll see what comes in the future. Still going to have your knob right here, something I know a lot of you don't want to ever see go away, for controlling the volume on your radio and turning that on and off. And I am glad that at least the front seats are ventilated, because it's hot today. I dare not leave the heated seats turned on. And the seats are both power, and you do have your lumbar support. So a lot going on where that's concerned. We'll still have the same armrests and the same center console design, but something else that will be standard across all trim levels is going to be the wireless charging pad. So that is there, and we still have our garage door style lid for the center console, or door. Maybe that's more of a door than a lid, because you open and close the lid. So it's okay. You can laugh at me for missing that a little bit. But that's what we have where that's concerned. And last but not least, as far as the interior goes, the upper console. You will have your conversation mirror. I could open that up and have a conversation with you with the camera right now, I guess, for those who want to see me in the video. And it is a sunglass holder, so a multitasker where that's concerned. And you can see some of the other controls and features that are here. We're still going to have the push button shifter. Some people like it, some people don't. It's here. So that's what you had to work with. And here's where you're going to control your front and rear window wipers. And for those of you who don't mind occasionally having to replace turn signal indicator bulbs every few years, here is your turn signal indicator lever, your blinker lever, and you control your headlights and fog lights there too. Okay, here we go on the test drive. Getting down the road with the Odyssey is not a problem. I do wish I had some scenarios to work with beyond just having myself in the Odyssey. Maybe more people, maybe some cargo, something like that, to see what the difference might be. But you're not really expecting rocket performance out of the Odyssey under any situation whatsoever. But it's going to do what it needs to do. Comfortable interior. I feel good and comfortable here in the driver's seat. For me, the armrest seems to work. It seems to be at the right place. I would like to see something that's maybe a little more adjustable, or simply have the center console that's taller here in the future to use as an armrest instead of what's built into the seat. Just depends on what it is you're interested in, what your personal preference is. But for me, that seems to work pretty well, just as it is. At 5'10", obviously I have absolutely no problem whatsoever being comfortable here within the interior, but I can tell there's a lot of adjustability left over in the driver's seat. So if I needed to adjust, if I was taller, I could. Now let's listen. You got a little bit of noise out of driving over those railroad tracks. And the ride quality was not really an issue, just a little bit of road noise, but to me, that's not a big deal. That's why I often say you need to drive these vehicles for yourself to draw your own conclusions, because I might say, hey, that's no problem. You might say it's even better than you made it out to be, Tom. I could hardly notice it. Or you might say, you know what, that's just a little too much road noise for me. In fact, let me just let you listen for a few seconds. I know that it really depends on the road surface you're on, but for what I'm on right now, I'll let you listen and see what you think. Now, obviously you are getting some noise. I don't know how well my microphone is picking things up, but we'll do the best we can to try and help you to hear what's going on as far as that goes. Easy to see out of, that's for sure. Now, if you had people in the back seat in that third row, or even in the second row, that could make a difference as far as being able to see out of that back window. The back window is very large, so easy to see out of, and that is where maybe the addition of a rear view camera mirror as an option could come in very handy on the Odyssey. What do you think about that? Is that something you would like to see in the future? There's always something else that we could add, that's for sure, to the vehicles that we drive that we'd like to see available that may not be. But of course, when you do that, the price goes up. So some people are going to say, yeah, I'd like to have this or like to have that. Are you willing to pay the additional price? Now, we'll get on down the road here and do a little bit of an acceleration test, not anything major, but no problems getting down the road, getting in front of the 18-wheeler right there. Easy to deal with. Gas and brake pedal easy to deal with as well, so no big surprises there. If you're not a fan of turbochargers and dealing with turbo lag, well, obviously the engine under the hood of this model is good for you because it's naturally aspirated. And while we've had changes in technology for 2025, it's still very simple to learn and very easy to use. So for those of you who maybe haven't had all of this before, don't let that scare you off. And keep in mind, I like to say this in all of my videos, you're already in the right place to learn all about it because there are so many tutorials on the technology in these Honda Odysseys right here on YouTube. And you might have noticed, I don't know if you could tell or not, that the test drive was not this exact Odyssey. This one's actually from the showroom floor, and I didn't want to get out on the road and get it real dirty unintentionally and make it harder for them to put it back into the showroom. So we just substituted a test drive from another 25 Odyssey in case anybody picked that up. So tell me what you think about the 2025 Odyssey Elite. Is it the ultimate minivan? Tell me what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Odyssey for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss any future videos. Tell me what you'd like to see in future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.